have paint all over my face and on my hands. If you want to have paint on your face too, and if you want to paint a snowman like this, ooh, cute, then go ahead and follow along with this video, and I will take you step by step with how to make a cute holiday painting. It is suitable for painters of all levels, so even if you've never held a paintbrush, then you can probably make something kind of looks like that. If you like the painting and you want to take some more painting classes with me, I have a course out right now. It is virtual. It is called the Creative Connection course, and it has 4 weeks of painting classes, as well as 4 yoga classes and a bunch of reading and journaling prompts about mindset and like how to improve your mindset to create a better reality. So if that's something you're interested in, then go ahead to creativeconjunction.com. You can sign up there, and it is half off right now until December 14th. So if you decide to join the course, that's awesome. Thank you so much. Otherwise, I hope you have a lot of fun painting with me today. Thanks, and happy holidays. Okay, so for this painting, we're going to be using white. This is all acrylic paint. Blue, this is a cobalt blue. Raw sienna. Burnt sienna. This is a phthalo green. Black. Orange. And then just a little dab of magenta. I also have 3 brushes today, so we're going to be using a big brush. This is like a 1-inch flat brush, a wash brush. A medium brush. This is maybe like a 12-inch round. And a tiny detail brush. So this one looks okay right now. I haven't been taking the greatest care of these, but yeah, tiny brush for details. You've got some kind of a vessel for your water. I have a mason jar. You have paper towels, especially if you're a messy painter like I am, and we'll also be using them for one of the techniques in the painting. And if you have glitter, there you go. And look at that. That's my gel manicure. Not doing great. And then something to paint on. So this is a canvas, a 16 by, that's not right, a 10 by 16, a 16 by 20 canvas, and I'm using an easel, but you can just use like a table or your lap. You don't have to have an easel. Don't let that stop you from painting. And you can paint on whatever surface you have handy. Also, a blow dryer is really nice for the dry breaks. Otherwise, if you live somewhere where it's sunny, you can put your painting outside for a few minutes to let it dry, or just pause the video and take a break. And then, crucial, I've got my coffee with my almond milk eggnog in it and a chocolate chip cookie. Really good to have snacks and drinks. And that's what we'll need to get started. So let's go. Do you want to paint a snowman? If so, let's do it. So I'm going to start with this big brush. Going to dip it in the water, kind of wipe it on the side of the jar so it's not super wet. And then I'm going to dip into just a little bit of blue. Like, this is probably too much, but it'll be fine. I'll make it work. I'm just going to have a little darker sky. So we're going to just make some blue splotches across the upper half of the canvas. Not too many, that's enough right there. And then without rinsing this brush, we're gonna go ahead and dip into the white, like a substantial amount. Look at that big glob, holding my hand underneath it. And we're going to drag our brush back and forth across the canvas, smoothing it across, back and forth, and this is going to make our sky color. So you can use a lot of paint here. If you don't have a lot of paint on your brush, it'll get that kind of like static TV effect. If you know what that is. I guess we don't have that anymore. But we're going to go all the way down to about midway across the canvas. A little more, a little less is fine. And We can also wrap around the edges of the canvas as well as the top, and that will give us a natural frame, so you don't have to go out and buy one. So wrapping around, bunch of white, just tons of white, and we're going all the way down. So if you drag your brush all the way back and forth across the canvas, that kind of eliminates brush strokes. And then also, the more you go back and forth, the more it'll become like one solid color. So if you want it to be like a consistent light blue, then just keep going back and forth over it. But if you want to get this kind of like streaky, cool sky effect, it sort of reminds me of like cirrus clouds, then go ahead and just go back and forth a few times. And then stop when you're done. Like, a really good tip in painting is to not just keep going because you can, and to just be like, oh, okay, that looks good enough. Let's just be done. Like, that looks good enough. Let's just be done. So I'm gonna take some of the sky color that's already on my brush and just put a few, here, let's take some, borrow some from the sky. A few splotches down here. And we're gonna make snow down here, so we want it to be lighter than the sky. So we're gonna go ahead, grab some more white. Oh my gosh, I'm dropping it everywhere. And just go back and forth over the bottom part of the canvas. Don't forget to go along the edges here if you did the same thing for the sky. And we just want like a hint of blue in this snowy section here. If you need to add a little water to your brush, you can. Just remember to wipe it on the side of the jar so it doesn't drip on your canvas, because drips on the canvas are the worst. I hate them. That's a strong word. I'm trying not to say I hate things anymore. I find myself liking canvases without drips so much better than canvases with drips. So we've got this kind of like snowy, light blue background here at the bottom. And once you're satisfied with that, you can paint the bottom edge if you like. Just flip it on the side and paint along the bottom there. And then we're gonna dry these. So if you have a blow dryer, go ahead and use that. Otherwise, pause this and let it dry for a little bit. Okay, so once your painting is somewhat dry to the touch, it should be like not too shiny and wet. We're going to switch to the medium round brush. Get it a little bit wet in the jar, wipe it off on the side of the jar. And we're gonna mix some of this green here, take a little bit to the side, and a little of the black. So we're gonna make like a pine foresty green. And if you don't have a palette, like you can just use like a piece of cardboard or something. Like I ripped open like a case of a six pack of beer and just use that before. You don't have to go out and buy anything fancy, but the glass palette is nice. Easy to clean. So we're making like this nice pine forest green because guess what? We're gonna make some pine trees. So let's make some happy little trees. We've got this dark green on our medium brush, and we're gonna make a few vertical lines starting where the snow meets the sky. And some of them can be tall, some of them can be short. I'm giving myself a little bit of distance between them so that I can have some nice fat pine trees. But if you want like just more pine trees, go ahead and put them closer. Let's make a really tall one over here. And then we're going to make the branches. So this isn't too important because we're just going to cover our pine trees with snow, but make sure you have a good amount of pine tree color. And in general, the harder you press down with the brush, the thicker the line, the lighter the touch, the thinner the line. So we're going to start at the top of this tree right here, and we're going to be pulling our brush toward the lower right hand corner, so at a diagonal. And we're going to pull the brush up and off the canvas at the end of the branch. So it's going to be this kind of flicking motion. And the branches at the top of the pine tree, I keep wanting to say palm tree because I live in Florida and I like to paint palm trees. the top of the pine tree, the branches are going to be shorter and they're going to get progressively longer as you go down. You might have to stop midway and load your brush back up with paint. So we're going all the way down, longest branches are at the bottom. And once we get to the bottom, we're going to kind of flatten it out. So we've got this wide base for the tree. So you can be wild here. A lot of time in painting, especially if you haven't done painting before, if you haven't done a lot of painting, people try to be like really careful and they're just like, oh, I gotta make each little branch like perfect. And you get this kind of like shaky hand effect. And you sort of lose like the gestural aspect of the painting when you do that too. So go ahead and just be wild. Like, what's the worst that can happen? You're gonna ruin your painting? Whatever, give it to someone you don't like for Christmas. It's totally fine. Or just do what I do and paint over your paintings that you don't like anymore. You can either use gesso, which is kind of like a paint glue combo, or you can I just use white paint, and then you can make a whole new painting that way. And it's got the mistakes of your past hidden within it. It's like a cool life thing. So there's my tree. It's not, ooh, I got some snow that's not dry there, but it's fine because I'm gonna put snow on top of this. It's not like a perfect tree, who cares? Let's make some more. So we're moving along, making our happy little trees. If you've ever listened to Bob Ross, you probably know that saying. He's the one who calls them happy little trees. He's a really cool painter guy. He's really relaxing. I've actually never painted along to him, but I've watched tons of Bob Ross, so I should get my oil paints and make a Bob Ross oil painting with him. But he was a cool guy. He had some kind of like military job. I'm obviously not a military person, or I would know what it was, but he would like go to these places like for his job and then paint them. And then when he retired, he said he wanted a job where he never had to yell at anyone ever again. So that's how we got Bob Ross, just following his passion, just like this kind, gentle soul who inspired probably like millions of people to do the same thing. So we're just moving along, painting. I keep like, oh, is it still recording? Because I've literally already done this painting and it wasn't recording when I thought it was. So I'm just like looking like, is it on? And it is for now. So yeah, in case you didn't know, we're doing the same thing on the left-hand side of the tree. We're just going toward the lower left diagonal corner. Maybe I should have mentioned that, but I think you could probably figure that out based on, you know, the first thing we did. So I've got some pretty nice looking trees here. I like how wild they're looking. Let's make this one. It's really difficult to not make them like the two short ones the same height and the two tall ones the same height. Because our human brains are just like, let's make these all the exact same, put them in a pattern. Like this robotic weird thing people do. They like to put things in patterns and make them even. And sometimes things aren't even in nature. Ooh, what's that? That's crazy looking. Let's make our tree a little taller. And sometimes you put a mark where you don't want it and you just have to work with it. So many life lessons in painting. So we've almost got all of our happy little trees. I've also got one up here. We're just covering these boys, I think it'd be girls, whatever, these genderless trees. And you can go off the edge if you have one really close to the edge here. It gets this cool kind of continuity, is that a word? Continuity, if you wrap it around the edge if it comes off. And people are like, whoa, did a professional paint that? It's amazing. All right, so once you have all your happy little trees, make sure you don't have like these weird triangle things at the bottom. Just flatten those out if you have that. And yeah, I've got a couple more here. And then we're gonna let these puppies dry again. So let's do that. Break. Okay, so you wanna make sure your trees are pretty dang dry because we're gonna make snow next. And we want our snow to be white and not light green. So there's so many different ways to apply snow to trees, but I kind of like the abstract method. So if you take a paper towel, crumple it lightly in your hand, and then dip it a little bit into some white paint here. And then you can kind of blot the extra paint off, so you just have a little bit on here. And then you're just going to apply it to your trees. So you're just dabbing onto your tree that way. And you get this kind of cool, like, abstract, snowy look that way. Now, I want to try a tool that I have never tried before, so I got some cotton balls. And I'm just going to try that. I've never done it, and I think it might look cool. So, I'm going to put a little white on, blot it off, and just try. Oh, heck yeah, I love that. Ooh, yeah. So you can keep going with a paper towel, or if you have some cotton balls. Ooh, I like it a lot. It's got that sort of spongy effect. Then go ahead and use those. I feel like the cotton balls are going to give you sort of a thicker covering of snow, and maybe a little more control too. But the paper towel gets this cool, like, random looking effect. So whichever you please, or whichever you prefer, go ahead. There are these, when I was in Occupy Wall Street, we made these stickers that said, I would prefer not to. And they were from, I can't remember, they're from some book. I should know, because I have that English degree, but I always think of that, like, I don't know, when it comes to doing jobs that I don't want to do. I'm just like, I would prefer not to. It's such a great way of saying, no thank you, or like, frig off. So we're just covering the whole trees, blah, 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 la-da-dee-da. Really loving this cotton ball effect. But if you don't love it, then do you, boo-boo. All right. Ooh, let's put some down here near like the bottom too. You know how snow kind of piles up like at the bottom of trees? I feel like I barely know snow anymore because I live in Florida and I haven't seen snow in so long. And I love it so much. And like, I love skiing. In theory, I love skiing because I haven't been in so long. But I learned to ski in the hills of Brown County, Indiana, which was like all fake snow from like snow machines. And my stepdad worked there as a ski instructor, so we learned really young. We were like homeschooled, so we could just like do all these tricks, and we just like ran the like fake snow fields, hills. Really fun way to grow up, but now it's been like a very like years since I skied, and I really want to. So anyway, I digress. We've got our snow trees here. If anybody out there wants to pay for a ski trip for me, I will take you up on it. Now let's make a snowman. So let's use our medium brush. Make sure you rinse it in the jar so you get all that green off. And then once you've rinsed it, you can use a paper towel to dry it off. There might be some green on the paper towel, it's fine. And your water might change color, that doesn't matter. You don't really need to change it. I once worked with like this group of dentists and they like had to change their water every 5 minutes. It's really funny. All right, so we're going into our white with our medium round brush, and we're gonna do the outline of our snowman first, and then we're going to fill him in. So snowmen are made out of circles, and circles are deceptively challenging to paint. So let's start where you want your snowman's head. I think mine will be about here. And if you just make a plus sign, dang, his head's gonna be big, around the size that you want his head. And then you can just fill in the quadrants. So there's like a circle. And luckily, snowmen are kind of like lumpy, so it doesn't matter if it's perfect. In fact, it won't be perfect, so just let go of that idea that things have to be perfect. In general, right? Make a bigger plus sign for his middle body. Fill that in. Whoa, I got some green that wasn't dry there. Not listening to my own advice. And then the biggest circle for the bottom. And maybe it's so big that it comes off the bottom of the canvas. I'm like, that doesn't matter, it's fine. He's just a tall snowman, snow person, whatever. So in general, when you're painting, you want to use smaller brushes for smaller things and bigger brushes for bigger things. So now that we've had this outline done, rinse this off and switch to your big brush. Make sure it's also rinsed and clean. And we'll use the big brush, we'll use the big brush to fill in the shapes. So we're just filling in. I like to kind of do the outside and work toward the middle, but whatever makes your heart just sing for joy, fill it in that way. I need a little more white paint here. And these paints are all just like inexpensive student grade paint, so you don't have to like spend tons of money just to make a painting. And I think that sometimes that like keeps people from making art because they're like, oh, I have to have the best of the best. Like I would freak out if I had super nice paints and super nice brushes. I don't know what I would create, but you can make art just fine with like the cheapest supplies man can buy. I think I got some brushes at Hobby Lobby for like $1. They're on sale and I still have them. So don't let like supply snobs keep you from creating. So we've got our snowman here and he looks kind of lonely. So I think we're gonna paint him a friend. So rinse this big brush off and move back to your medium brush. Make sure it's clean. In general, we're just rinsing brushes after we use a color. And wipe it on the paper towel so it's not super wet, so it's not dripping. And let's make him a little Rudolph friend. So go into your brown color here, that's a burnt sienna. And we're gonna, once again, start with the outline, and then we're gonna move in and fill it in with different colors and stuff. So in these acrylic paintings, we're doing it by layers. So we do the background, we do the next layer, and then the closest things that you see are the things you do last. So same thing, let's make a circle where this deer's head is gonna be. I'm gonna make him pretty close to the snowman, so maybe about here. Make the plus sign about the size. Ooh, I forgot to dry that snow, so it's gonna blend in a little bit. That's totally fine. So about the size that you want his head, little circle there. You can just go ahead and fill that in. And then we're gonna make this top left-hand corner of his head. It's like the top left-hand corner of like a cube. So we're kind of squaring that off there. And then for his snout, we're gonna make kind of down here in the bottom left part of this weird shape we have. It's like the side of a banana, like the end of a banana. So we've got this little cute little snout here. This is gonna be adorable, I can tell already just by this shape. Shapes can be cute, I don't know if you know that, but they can be cute. And then let's make an ear. So the ear is gonna be back here on the upper right hand corner of the head, and it's gonna be like a lemon shape. So you've got a frown meeting a smile. And then we can go ahead and fill that in. Let's make another ear kind of coming over here, and it'll be more like a soft, like not a spiky triangle, but like a triangle with a soft little tip, just like that. That's a freaking cute deer head. I've definitely made worse. My deer often look like dogs, so we're gonna work on not doing that this time. Just because I like to paint a lot of dogs and draw dogs, and I look at dogs, and all my whole life is just dealing with dogs every day. It's like I'm unemployed right now, so I just hang out and train my dogs. So let's make his neck next. It's good to start to make the neck smaller than what you think it should be, because you can always make it bigger, but if you start with like a fat neck, then he's just gonna look like a wrestler or something. So start back here on the right hand side of the head and make 2 parallel lines. Thicken it up if you like. That's about a little wider than my finger, so I think that's a good width for me. And then let's bring the front of the neck down to make the chest. So it's going to, make sure it's recording still, it's going to kind of swoop down like that. I think that's about a good distance. And then the top, same thing, you're just going to kind of give him this rounded butt. So the line goes kind of like a little smile and then up a little bit to give him that rumpity rump. And then let's just connect these. So you've got this like potato-like body. And then we're gonna do the legs next. So make sure you can see that. Yeah. So the back legs of both deer and dogs have this, they're like thicker at the top. I'll just demonstrate. Let me move this over so you can see it better. So you're gonna start back here near the rump, and you're gonna make these kind of like ham hocks, like these ovals, but they angle back toward the right hand side of the canvas. So you can make this oval for his thigh. And then his lower leg is going to be thinner, and it's gonna angle toward the front of the canvas, or toward the left hand side of the canvas. So you can just use the width of this brush, and there's your freaking deer leg. Same thing, let's give ourselves about a finger width between the two back legs, and make another little oval angling toward the back right hand corner of the whatever we're painting on the canvas, and then the thinner part angling toward the front. So now he looks like a turkey. If he looks like a turkey, you're doing it right. One of my dogs is coming to visit. The front legs are gonna be more straight. Hello, Harley. Let's make one leg just going straight down from about right here. So, bloop. And it could be a little bit thicker in this upper part, but it's pretty thin. It's like the width of this brush for the thin part. And then let's make him like prancing. So let's start a leg maybe like 2 finger widths above that leg we just did. And we're gonna make it bent. So we can just go like this. It's a little wide, a little thicker there. There's his knee or his elbow or whatever. And then bend it. So it's angling back through that. Hey, bro. Oh my God, she just ate my cookie and it had chocolate in it. Harley. All right, hopefully she doesn't die. She won't, because I had a dog that ate an entire pack of Oreos once and she didn't die, but don't feed your dogs chocolate. Harley, stop. Can't believe it. I ate most of the cookie. It was like this much. All right. Let me know if your dogs have ever eaten terrible things. What's the worst thing your dog has eaten? Are you a bad dog parent if you leave a cookie where your dog can get it? Maybe. Probably. All right. Or maybe you just make a mistake because you're a human. So we have our deer here, and we're going to fill in this section. So we can switch to our bigger brush and fill that in. So we're using a big brush to fill in big things and a smaller brush to fill in smaller things. So for the dog that ate the package of Oreos, she was actually really big. She was a 140-pound dog. And she somehow learned to open the refrigerator when we were gone. And like ate not only the pack of Oreos, but also like a loaf of bread and like a stick of butter, like knocked the eggs over and ate all those. So we gave her, and this was like more than 10 years ago, but we gave her like a little bit of hydrogen peroxide, and please don't listen to me, I'm not a vet. And she like puked everywhere and all came out. So yeah, if your dog eats chocolate, you should probably like call the vet or take it to the vet, because she was really big. And I think if a smaller dog did that, that would have been bad news. So big brush, brown, and fill the body in. And there's our deer. Now he is missing something. Needs a little tail. So let's go back to our medium brush and put a little triangle up here at the top for the tail. Now I'm like afraid to post this video because people are gonna be like, you're like a dog abuser. You're a terrible dog parent. It's all I have. It's all I have right now are my dogs. I'm just gonna do it, and if people say that, then I'll just deal with it. All right, here, let's see. So it's good to like take a step back and look at your thing and make sure it actually looks like a deer. So like, what the heck is going on over here? We need to fix that. So let's connect that part, and then let's just step back and look at it. Does it look like a deer? Is there anything missing? I think we could bring these legs a little closer together, just right up here. And he's got some thick thighs, but it's totally fine. We'll make him look good. So once you have the deer here, we're going to dry these again. So go ahead and either use your blow dryer to dry it, or take a break, hit pause, let it dry. Okay, so I Googled how much chocolate is enough to like be deadly poisonous to your dog. and it's 1 ounce per pound of body weight. So 1 pound of milk chocolate would be enough to like take out your 20-pound dog. So Harley, who ate my little quarter of a piece of chocolate chip cookie, is 60 pounds. So I think she's gonna be all right. I think she's gonna make it. And it's good information to know, like how much chocolate can your dog eat, especially during this holiday season. So we're gonna use big brush, make sure it's clean, especially since we just used the brown and the deer. So we're gonna give the snowman another layer of white. So white brush, big brush, and I like to start by doing the outsides and then filling in the center. And it's just a thin layer. We're just making them a little whiter here. There we go. And then once you finish that, we're going to rinse our brush. We'll leave it in the jar, and we're gonna move on to Rudolph over here and give him some details. So let's switch back to the medium brush and rinse it off, wipe it off. And we're gonna use that tan color, the raw sienna. So pull a little bit of that off to the side and add some white to it. So you're making like this very light tan color, even lighter. So very, 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 very light. That's good enough. And kind of roll your brush around in it. And then we're gonna do the snout. Well, actually, let's start with the eye. So we're gonna make kind of a little circular shape where the eye is gonna be. So that'll be like the spot behind the eye. He's gonna look like a mutant for a little while, so don't freak out and be like, I'm ruining it. It's not done yet, okay? And then let's do the snout. And in general, like if you're following along and your painting doesn't look like mine, like good, it shouldn't, it's your painting. Mine don't look the same, and I do, like if I was gonna paint the same painting a million times, it would look different each time. So let's make another littler lemon shape inside of the ear. Just this ear. That ear's turned away from us, so we don't have to do that ear. And, ooh, let's get some antlers on this baby. So we're gonna do 2 layers of antler, but we'll use this brush to do the first layer, same color. Let's start right above this ear, inside the head, and pull, using a light touch, because you don't want the antler to be super thick, just pull a little line out here, like past the ear. And then on the upper side of the line, give you 2 little branches. I don't know what they're called on antlers. Branches of antler. And same thing, let's make one, maybe a finger width away from this one, starting inside the head. Maybe it'll come out here in front of this ear. And just 2 little branches. And we're gonna come back in and add other colors to that, but that'll do for now. That'll do, pig. And then let's do the chest. So we'll start right below the chin, and we're gonna pull this line, it's about the width of your brush, all the way down to the front of the second leg. So about right there. I just got white on my painting. If you get paint where you don't want it and it's still wet, just get a slightly damp paper towel and wipe it off. It works like magic. So skip that second leg. We're gonna continue that tan color past the third leg, and then it stops right in front of the fourth leg. So about right there. And then we're gonna rinse this brush, and we're gonna go into the white, same brush but with white, and put a little streak on the back, just right behind the tail. And then maybe some little dots right on the rump. Very cute. So that's pretty cute. Let's rinse this brush and go into, wipe it off and go into the black, and we can do the hooves. So for the hooves, you're just gonna make kind of a roundy little cube. So right here, ooh, my brush is so wet, it's about to drip. It's really good to not have a super wet brush here. So a roundy little cube, the bottom of the foot. Maybe your feet come all the way down like to the end of the canvas. So maybe the hooves, they either go over some of the brown or maybe they come off the canvas. Whatever you please. There we go. Little hooves here. And then go ahead and rinse this brush. Wipe it off again. You're gonna go into the red. So we just have a tiny bit of red. My red's almost dry actually because I didn't use very much at all. And the red I'm using is a magenta, but really any red will work here. Just give you a little nose right there. Cute. And then let's dry these real quick one more time. There's a lot of drying in this painting, so I hope you have a blow dryer, but if not, have fun painting all day. Let's try these one more time. We'll come back, add more details to the snowman, add more details to the Rudolph, and see what we come up with. All right, we're back. So medium brush, make sure it's clean. We're gonna go into the white, and we're gonna make a white circle inside of this tan circle for the white of the eye. And then go ahead and rinse your brush, wipe it off. We're gonna take this tan, raw sienna, a little bit to the side, add a little brown to it, add a little more brown. This is gonna be our antler color, so a little lighter than the actual fur color. And just go over the antlers with that color. That's a good color. There you go. I'm using a light touch. You can always press down harder for a thicker line, but it's good to start with a light touch. There's our antlers. Let's rinse this, dry it off again. And we're gonna move on to Frosty or whoever this is. So black, medium brush. Let's start with his top hat. So we're gonna start about 2 fingers width from the top of the head, and you're gonna make not a flat line, it kind of curves up on the sides. So that's gonna be the brim of his hat. And then make another kind of soft half of a square, like a top of a piece of bread popping out of the toaster. Fill that in. These 2 little lines on the side, turn them into little softy triangles. So not spiky, they have soft little tips. Let's make his hat a little taller. A little bit taller. You can make the hat as big as you want, but it's a good size, I think. And then let's make his 2 eyes made out of coal. So bloopity bloop. And a little smile made out of coal as well. Let's put some 3 big buttons. And then with the black still on this brush, go ahead and pull some of that antler color off to the side and mix that black in. You're gonna make like a tree branch color, so a blacky brown. Okay, add a little more black. Black's really strong, so you don't need to add a lot. And then let's make his arms. So you can make his arms however you want. Like they can be doing anything. They're just sticks. If you can draw a stick figure, you can draw arms with a paintbrush. I'm using a light touch again because I want thinner arms. Mine's gonna be kind of like sassy. So his arms are bent. Give yourself a couple, maybe 3 little fingers. There we go. That's it, that's all that is. Make sure he's actually has his arms coming into his snow body. And then let's take that same color and kind of streak it into the left-hand side of the hat. Actually, you can't really see that, so let's add a little white to it. So don't have to rinse your brush. Add some white to that branch color you just used. So you're getting this kind of gray now. And now streak a little bit into the upper left-hand side of the top hat and maybe a little bit into the brim. We're just lightening it up a little bit. We'll come back in and add more details in a minute. But for now, go ahead and rinse your medium brush. Checking to see if it's recording. And go into the orange. We're gonna make his carrot nose. It's gonna come off to the right-hand side. Starting in the middle of the face, you can press down here and lightly lift your brush off the canvas. So it's a little thicker near where it sticks into his face, and a little thinner near the end. There we go. He's looking great. So we're gonna do some detail work now. So go ahead and rinse this brush, and we're gonna go into our little brush. And I need to take better care of mine, but get yours a little bit wet. And we're gonna go into the black. So let's go back to Rudolph over here. So for Rudolph, we're gonna make a black oval or circle within his eye in the very middle of that white. And you can go slow here, you can use a light touch. The detail brush is smaller so it doesn't hold as much paint, so do with that info what you will. Then we're gonna pull some eyeliner all the way around the eye. I like to start at the top, then do the bottom, like a little smile. And then, remember how I did the branches of the pine trees? We're gonna do the same thing, but kind of lifting up toward the upper left-hand corner and off the canvas to give him some eyelashes. So I'm gonna give him 1, 2, 3 eyelashes. If you're good at like eyeliner, you're gonna be great at this. And then let's do a little smile. So coming from under the nose, a smile. You put one of those little lines at the end of the smile, like, gee, we like her, guys. I don't know why, I think that's really corny, but it's cute too. And then you've got little Rudolph here. So while Frosty dries, we're gonna outline Rudolph using the detail brush. And this takes a minute, so don't get frustrated. We're gonna take some water with your little brush and just drip it on the side of the canvas, or the palette, I mean. Add some black to that and add some brown. And you're gonna stir it together. You're gonna have kind of an inky consistency. You don't want it to be too wet though, because you don't want it to drip. So make sure when you lift your brush off and shake it, it doesn't really drip off. It should be that thick. And once you have like a blacky browny color, and you have a good amount of it, because we're gonna use a lot of it to outline, we're gonna do some outlining. So this is gonna take a minute, so get ready. So roll your little brush in that color, and we're just gonna outline. So I'm gonna start down here so that we can tell which leg is in front. And you're using a very light touch. I'm just pulling this brush up, up, up. Remember, the brush doesn't hold a lot, so you're gonna have to keep re-dipping into your outline substance. So around, my hand is shaking. You can use your pinky for like a kickstand, that sometimes helps. And then I'm holding it closer to me. If you have a table to do this on, I think it's a lot easier than doing it at an easel. And then let's do the other side. So this, oh, you know what? I messed up. This is not supposed to connect here because this leg is in front of this leg. So take that little wet paper towel if you were following along and just erase that section. Let me put my brush down. Holding too many things at once. Erase that little section there where the legs meet. So, glad somebody's paying attention. All right, so go ahead and start where these two legs meet. So you're just doing this little triangle here. Fill that part in. And I just painted myself. And then just paint to where these two legs meet. So to make it look like this standing leg is in front of this bent leg, pull that line through, all the way through on either side. See, even I get confused with this outlining stuff. And there we go, much better. And then you can pull this line here up into the body a little bit to make it look like the leg's actually like not just a stick and it's a leg. And then go along the outside of that cream color through that third leg and then stop at the front of the fourth leg. I'm gonna add a little more water to my color here just by dipping my little brush in and then stirring it into the paint. And let's start up here. See my little brush, see how that's sticking up? Can you see? That's the worst when you're trying to outline something and you just take really bad care of your brushes, but you can kind of spin it between your fingers to get it to be a good brush. I had this bike that it was like a Huffy bike. It's like this $50 bike that was spray painted hot pink. I always think about that. It's like, you can make it look good, but underneath it's still a piece of crap. All right, I love that bike though. It was a great bike. I had it for a long time. I actually delivered food in New York City on that bike, and then some old man cut my lock and stole it from me. My friend saw him riding off on my pink bike in the rain, but I guess he needed it more than me. So we're doing the front part here. I hope your brush is better than mine. I am accepting brush donations right now. Oh, suck. Okay, it's a lesson in patience and taking care of your tools. I'm gonna go around the face here. Skip the nose. You don't have to outline that. Around the head. We're having so much fun, aren't we? And gonna roll that brush in the paint. That kind of helps it to stick together too. And then we're gonna outline each antler. So you can do the whole thing all the way around into the face there. And there we go. And around this one. This is like the Zen moment. Or the freak out moment. You get to choose which though. Alright, so we're getting closer. We're not going to outline anything inside the body. We're just going, except for the antlers, going around this ear. And you can actually outline the head between these since that ear is sticking up on the other side. Around. Let's go back to this antler here. And all the way around. Just have to keep redipping the brush. And the antler's still kind of wet. It's definitely, painting's like definitely a lesson in just learning how to deal with frustration tolerance, especially if you like have this idea of what you want it to look like and then it doesn't look like it and you just like get mad and like give up. Like, you know, a lot of things in life aren't going to turn out how you want, but it's nice if you can like still like see the beauty in the things that you do, no matter how they turn out, and just like the beauty of doing the thing and not just in the end result. So I brought the line down from the ear into the head a little bit for that same reason that I did it with the leg, to give it this sort of more 3D effect. Same thing down here on the bottom side of the ear. And man, I'm ready for this deer to be done, being outlined. Same thing in the back of the head. Also here in the chin, let's bring that line a little bit into the body. Make that head more roundy looking. Okay, now let's do the back of the deer. It's a cute freaking deer. And we're gonna go all the way to the tail. And for the tail, I'm gonna go around and I'm gonna go between the tail, the brown part of the tail and the white part of the tail. This brush is infuriating me. Time to get a new one. This time I'll take care of it, I swear. Sometimes I paint like when I'm drinking and then I forget to take my brushes out of the jar. leave them there until the next time I think about it. So there we go. Let's do this third leg here. Lottie-dottie. We like to potty, whatever. Somebody like to potty too. All right. Getting to the point where I just start rambling. For this fourth leg, this last leg, we're gonna bring this line up into the body a little bit. And there we go. And then let's do this last leg here. All the way up. My dear's butt kind of comes off the canvas, so you can leave it like that, or I'm gonna just go around the edge here to outline it. There we go. All right, I think he's outlined. Let me take a step back and look. Yeah, let's make this a little thicker here to go over that tan part. All right, that'll do. So rinse, good job, you finished the outline. That's like the most tedious part of this whole painting. So rinse your tiny brush, wipe it off, make sure you get all that black off. We're gonna go into the white and make sure it's not super wet because you don't wanna drip. Let's put a little dot in the upper right-hand corner of that black part of the eye. And then a tinier dot in the lower left-hand corner. Cute. How about a little white streak right here, like a little letter C on the tip of the nose so it looks like it's shiny. Cute, cute, cute. That's what my grandma always says. She says, cute, cute, cute. Or fun, fun, fun. She's very cute, cute, cute. So we've got our deer, and I think he's pretty dang close to done. So let's move on to Frosty over here. Same brush, tiny brush, white. Let's make an oval up here at the top of the hat. And then a line along the left-hand side of the hat. A little bit along the right-hand side of the hat. Some streaks in the brim. A few streaks in the upper part. And then let's also do kind of a streak down here. You can use your finger to sort of blend it in if you like. Kind of looks good that way. Maybe a couple up here in the top. It's really easy to go overboard here, so stop while you're ahead. Let's put a few streaks into his arms and hands as well. Just some little highlights. And maybe a couple in his little, I need a little more white. A little couple in his little carrot nose, just for some texture. And then let's do the same thing and give him a little white dot in each of his eyes. It really helps them to come alive when they have those little white dots. His eyes are really wet, so let's see what happens here. Let's make his eye dots up here. So he's kind of looking toward Rudolph. They're in the upper right-hand corner. Okay, that works. That does it for me. Now let's take a step back and look at this. Ugh. Okay. All right. I think we should put a little outline on Frosty. I know you loved those outlines. So let's take a tiny bit of blue. Blue's really strong. A little bit of blue using detail brush to the side of your palette and a little bit of white, and let's make a very pale blue. So more white than blue. And once you have a good outline color, let's give him an outline so he sticks out from the background. So it's easier once again to get closer when you do this. So here I am with my crappy brush. Just gonna outline the sides of his head here. I'm not gonna go all the way around. I'll leave a little gap right there where his chin is. Skip over the arms. Go along the sides of his body. Just giving Frosty a little cartoon outline. And then, can you see what I'm doing? Yeah. All the way down here. Once again, you're not going all the way around. Actually, down here, yeah, we can go all the way around. And then we've got his body. Let's see. Yeah, maybe we'll just join it up here too and go all the way around here. Yeah, that's pretty good. And let's take a step back, take a look. All right. He lost his shape here a little bit, but that's okay. All right, so final thing is snow. So let's make a blizzard. So switch to your medium brush, and we're gonna take water and drip several drops of water onto the palette and move some white in there. So stir the white into the water until you get this milky consistency. And I like to do this part with the painting flat, but I'll demonstrate it for you. And I'm getting brown mixed in, so oh please. I'll demonstrate it for you with the easel. But if you put it flat, I think it works a lot better. So get you some white, and this part's messy too. So it's stirred together, you've got this milky consistency, it's very thin, it's almost like a watercolor. Once you have it on your brush, you're gonna hit it against your finger. I like to hit the first time onto the palette so that you get like all the extra paint off, and then we're just gonna hit it all over the canvas. So snow, snow, let it snow, snow everywhere. Redip, snow, 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 all over the place. I'm gonna put some all over Rudolph. This is one of my most favorite ways of painting. Oh wow, it's a blizzard. And when you're happy with your amount of snow, you're pretty much done. If you want to add like some birds or something in the sky, go for it. A lot of people will sign their name in the lower right hand corner, but you can do it wherever you like. Some people use a thumbprint because it can't be copied. And then final thing is glitter. So the glitter will stick to anything that's wet. So you can hold your painting flat and you're just sprinkling it all over this thing. And then shake it off. I don't know if you can tell. We'll see if I'll take it down and see if you can tell in a minute. But that's your painting. Woo, congratulations, you painted. And so did I. All right, so let's see if you can see the glitter. Oh yeah, you just gotta get an angle. Oh, it's so beautiful. Perfect, or good enough.